Hey everybody, I got a question from a patient today that I wanted to share with you. Her and I are working on building some low back strength, resiliency, and also working on her hips. She's had a chronic, sciatic back pain problem. It's been going on for a long time. And one of the key things that I like to work on with people whenever they have any sort of chronic back pain is progressing the hex bar deadlift. Now, it takes a lot of work to actually get to the point where someone can hex bar deadlift, but that is one of my champion horses for helping people that have chronic back pain or any sort of if they throw out their back often or something like that. So she asked me today. We're working on the hex bar. Uh, we're working on hex bar deadlifting, and she asked me a question. She goes, "Okay, so like when I'm done rehabbing my back with the hex bar deadlift, like what am I going to do after that?" And the beautiful thing about that question is the fact that the hex bar deadlift is also something that you can do forever for the long term to really build full body strength and low back and hip strength and resiliency. So the magic is in the rep scheme and how you change that. So my answer to her question was essentially, what I'm doing with her right now is I'm working her up to the point where she can do 3 sets of 10 at her body weight, okay? Or her body weight, 3 sets of 10 comfortably. So she's not quite there yet. She's getting close. Her body weight's 175. She can do 3 sets of 10 at her body weight, but it doesn't really look that good, and it's kind of hard, and it takes a lot of effort. So once we get her to the point where she can do that super comfortably, then I would transfer someone over into more of a strength and intensity program with the using the hex bar deadlift, but adjusting the rep scheme so that we can give the patient a different stimulus with the same exercise. So the rehab section is basically 3 sets of 10 at your body weight is kind of the goal. And then once someone does that and that's pretty comfortable, I like to transition them over into 5x5, where they're basically doing 5 sets of 5 repetitions, and we are trying to go heavy. So oftentimes I will work with the patient to figure out what their estimated 1 repetition maximum is, and then scale the 5x5 weights based on their 1 repetition maximum. But I don't want to get into the weeds on that one. But basically, going from 3 sets of 10 to a heavy 5x5 creates such a different stimulus because the reps are so much lower compared to 10. You can really jack up the weight and then get a super intense stimulus with that. So the example I gave her was, all right, and why these rep schemes are so different and why the weight is important. I was like, okay, if I were to tell you to just do reps of the hex bar, just the bar itself, the bar we have here is 75 pounds. If I was just going to have someone do a bunch of reps at the 75-pound bar, they could probably do like 20 or 25 reps, and it wouldn't even really be that hard. They can just kind of like go through the motions and like, okay, yeah, is this it? I'm not really challenged by this. But if I put 250 pounds on the bar, you bet people are going to have to like focus in, load up, and then who knows how many reps they can actually do, but it probably isn't an infinite number. So there's a range there for every person. There's definitely weights that are too light, and there's definitely weights that are too heavy. So when we're doing 5x5, we want to make sure that we're selecting a weight that's on the heavier side and that is actually challenging for 5 reps. And a set that's at a weight that's actually challenging at the 5th rep is going to be a lot different than the weight that's actually challenging at the 10th rep. So whenever someone can comfortably do their body weight, I often shift them over to doing much heavier lifting because it's just way more intense and it creates a lot different of a neuromuscular stimulus. There's one patient that I'm working with who, when we were testing his 1 repetition maximum, he was lifting over 300 pounds on the hex bar. And he was like surprised, 1, that he was doing it, and number 2, that he was like, wow, this feels crazy. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like your brain is basically electrocuting your entire nervous system to tell you to lift this super heavy weight, which he's never done. And it's a totally novel stimulus. And it is the key advantage of lifting heavy, is that you have this like electric shock in your body that forces you to go, like really heavy for only a few reps, and then you rest for a long time. So something like that is going to be a lot different than doing 3 sets of 10 at your body weight. But they both are using the same exercise, the hex bar deadlift, to load the body. So my basic answer to her question was, okay, you're in this phase right now where you're trying to work up to doing 3 sets of 10 at your body weight really well. And then where you would go from here, using the same exercise, is a lot heavier lifting, but lower number of reps. So if you found this video helpful, give it a like. If you have a question, drop it in the comments. My name is Dr. Michael. I'm a physical therapist here in Evanston, Illinois, where I specialize in working with runners. If you're interested in setting up an appointment, check out the description down below and set up a free discovery call with me. Thanks for watching.